We'll answer the questions. All right? But we'll answer everybody's questions. So my name is David Kushner. I've been trading the markets for over 25 plus years. I've traded stock options and I've traded futures, Forex, not too much anymore. My background was I had an automotive parts business that I started when I was 18 years old. I had that business for 28 years, sold it in 2005, and since then I've been a full-time trader. So like most of you, you probably have a whole shelf, hard drives full of trading systems, indicators that came with a lot of empty promises of helping you become a more profitable and more consistent trader. So I know that I have probably 3 or 4 hard drives full of stuff, plus a whole shelf full of stuff that I don't use. I spent a small fortune on all this nonsense. And when I was in a webinar that Mark Sachs did and I saw the money flow tracker software for the first time, I quickly realized that this methodology isn't based around the same old indicators that everybody else teaches, but more based on mathematical modeling and triple and quadruple screen analysis. I now only trade with institutional money flow. So whenever I talk about order flow or money flow, I'm only talking about institutional order flow or money flow. And it's made me much more profitable, much more consistent. And now I'm running over a 70% win-loss rate. So the agenda for this webinar is the money flow tracker software, how it works, the high probability setups, the unbreakable rules to follow, and how I trade breakouts and sidestep losing trades, the money flow tracker auto trader, and how to pass evaluation to become a funded trader. So those who stayed till the end of the webinar, it's about 45 minutes, within an hour. We have a very special discount tonight, plus some additional software as quick action bonus. Okay, so why are you here? Well, you're not here. You're not getting the results you want yet, right? You're not here to waste time, and neither am I. And you're not here to waste money. I know how that feels. And you're sick of buyer's remorse. So what do you mean by buyer's remorse? Well, you know, people buy a system, they trade with it for a couple of weeks or a month, then the system stops working for them. So they throw that one in the garbage and they go look for the new one. And it doesn't exist. I tell everybody in my webinars that if you're going to commit to a system, you have to commit 112,000%. You can't look at anything else. You have to study that system, trade that system, everything, right? So people ask me, well, then, David, show me a solution. I said, okay, what do you want? You want to hit constant winners, right? You want a solid trade performance that repeats daily, right? You know, look, the markets are here for us to extract money from it every day. Some days, and I'm going to say not every day, some days we don't. Why? Because the markets are choppy, non-trending, low volume, and we don't trade in those type of markets. Well, let's keep going. What do you need to create trading success? First thing you need is software. Software to give you that edge over all other traders. Remember, for every buyer, there's a seller. All right? And you need that edge to track the direction of money flow. And what did I say? Institutional money flow. The third thing is etched in stone rules to follow, and this will eliminate discretion. I love trading mechanical systems. Okay? You have rules, you follow the rules, most of the time you do well. Right? And the fourth thing, which I think is probably the most important thing, is patience. Patience to let the trade set up. So we're going to go ahead and break the system down in detail. But before we go, I want to show you some trades that we've taken with the money flow tracker software, like this one, AMC. Now, this was an option trade using the signal from the software on a daily chart, right? 139%. Here's another one on GME, 188%. Here's a trade that I took on 30-year bonds. Okay, 41 ticks at 31.25 a tick. Another one on the euro. All right, so let's keep going. You know, I don't like to show too many screenshots of trades that I've taken that were winning trades because not every trade's a winner. But I just wanted to show you a little piece of it, right? So it's like you have problem making money. And from the poll, I'm probably guessing most of you. Why? Because you don't have the proper tools to efficiently manage your trades. You overtrade, you revenge trade, and you make impulsive decisions. This one slide probably describes this one slide probably describes most of you. I know it used to describe me, but it doesn't anymore. Uh, the next thing is you lack consistency. You trade with the indicators that lag price. You don't have a proven, mathematically proven trade methodology. And all these things lead to blowing up trading accounts, right? So my commitment to you for coming to this webinar is to bring this to an end. So what did I say? 95 to 98% of traders that use the following go broke. Price action, MACD, Elliott wave, divergence, price patterns, Fibonacci, GAN. You know what? None of these things have any future predictive properties. And I am not saying, and I'm going to repeat, I am not saying that the money flow tracker could predict the future. All right? Because first of all, nobody can predict the future, right? But if you follow the rules, you have very high probability setups. All right. So look, so Mark Sachs had over 35 years in the study in the field of applied mathematics. He was a professor at Jefferson University, and after 8 long years, he engineered the software system and trade methodology that can improve your trade performance, and that would be the Money Flow Tracker software. And we have over 500 traders between our 3 trade rooms that we trade shoulder to shoulder every day. But before we get started, I want to show you my trade journal, if I can find it. So I use an online trade journal, and it happens to be called Edgewalk. Okay, let me go ahead and pull it up here and log in. If it pulls up, oh, there we go. All right. And let's click on this. So these are my stats. So every day I do my trade performance in NinjaTrader. And what I do is I download all my trades from NinjaTrader to the into an Excel spreadsheet. And then every day I click on this button and I upload my spreadsheet. Here, these are ones from, this was from the 20th. I didn't trade, we didn't trade yesterday and I didn't trade today. And then it brings all my data in here. Like for this day here, this is the trade ID from NinjaTrader. This is the entry, the exit, the instrument. Give me all my information right here. Plus, it keeps my stats. So look, I'm running right now a 75.84% win rate with a profit factor of 2.56, which means that for every dollar I risk, I'm making 256. All right. Here is my equity graph for this year. Pretty nice. Bottom left, top right. Nice. We got little bumps and bruises along the way, but hey, that's why they call it trading. You know, there are days that we don't trade. Like if we go back here, I don't know, let's go July, let's say. Why didn't we trade these days? Well, first of all, this was holiday week. We didn't trade. I was away the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and 5th and 7th. And then we didn't trade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 out of 20 trading days. What did I do in July? I don't even remember. $7,382. All right. And we only traded, I knew that was going to go back. Look how many days we didn't, look how many days we did trade. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We didn't trade 10 out of 20 trading days. And we still made $7,300, right? A lot of days we don't trade because the markets are very choppy, non-trending, low volume. And when we get days like that, we choose not to trade, right? Because we want to trade with institutional order flow, so we need to have the volume to tell us that the institutions are trading. All right, so look, the markets consist of many small retail traders represented by these marbles. plus one or more large institutional trader represented by the big purple ball. Now, the money flow tracker software has three key metrics that determine money flow. The first one is triple screen assessment of correlative markets using our AI software. The second is triple screen assessment of order flow. And the third is triple screen assessment of the LIQUIDITY for momentum. Anybody have any questions? All right, keep doing it. So what do I mean by triple screen assessment? It really just means 3 time frames in agreement. That's what it means. So triple screen assessment means 3 time frames in agreement. Keep it simple, works better. People learn better when I keep terminology really simple. So the first powerful force that moves price is triple screen assessment of order flow. So I know that most people think of these type of candles when you talk about order flow. Well, you have all these numbers on the inside, on the outside, on the top, on the bottom. You know, your brain doesn't have the computing power to make sense of all these numbers while the markets are moving, and if they're moving fast, so what we did is we came up with our own order flow candles. So our order flow charts look like this. If the outline of the candle is green, means the delta of the candle is positive. And if it's red, it means the delta of the candle is negative, right? So when I train people, I say, listen, if you are looking long and you have green outline candles, means you have more buyers than sellers in that candle, it should go up. And if you have red outline candles, means you have more sellers than buyers in that candle, and it should go down. And keep it simple, right? So triple screen assessment means 3 time frames in agreement. The higher time frame, the mid time frame, and your trading time frame. So this is a screenshot of what our charts look like. I wanted to throw this in here in the beginning so you can see how easy and so clean they are. And all our indicators are represented by these colored lines on the bottom. So you don't have to interpret, well, this is coming up to oversold or this is doing that. It's either red or green, and that's the way we set it up. So let's keep going. So triple screen assessment of momentum, right, is the second powerful force that moves price, and also our hybrid candle. So again, we want to see momentum going in the same direction of 3 time frames. And the wicks. So inside our candles, and we're the only ones that have Renko bars that show the price action in the candle. So if you have a candle that closes and the next candle opens, let me grab my pen here again, be easier. The next candle opens from the previous candle's close, goes up the bar size, opens from the previous candle's close, goes up the 5. This one here opened, went up or went down first, but this is a wick. This is what we call a wick. And we use these wicks to our advantage. So, and I'll show you a little bit further on in the webinar. So the modified LIQUIDITY is we took all these indicators and we added our algorithm to it, and we developed what we call the modified LIQUIDITY. Now, the modified LIQUIDITY is like oscillator, but it does not show divergence like other oscillators. It shows strength of trend. So the modified LIQUIDITY is represented by the colored line on the bottom, right? So when it crosses below 20, it'll turn red. When it crosses above 20 and is sloping up, it'll be lime green. When it crosses over 80, it turns dark green, and when it crosses below and is sloping down, it will be gold or orange, whatever you want to call it. Ultimately, we want it to be pinned at 100 or pinned at 0, so we get our acceleration dots. All right? So the acceleration dots is telling us, hey, we have momentum coming in. Now we'll talk about our quant lines. But if you talk about the quant lines, does anybody have any questions? Nobody? I know Rory's been answering a bunch of them, but I'd like to answer a few myself. All right, so I'll just keep going. All right, the quant lines are the third powerful force that moves price. And our quant lines use our AI program. Why? Because what they do is they examine 28 market components, and they're examined by our AI system for correlation. Now, most people understand what correlation is. Okay, it's in the name. It tells you what correlation means. It's correlated, but most people don't pay attention to it, but we do, because we realize that, right, line, excuse me, that that correlation is very powerful. For instance, if ES is going up, NQ, RTY, and YM, all the indexes are going up together. That's very powerful stuff. But let's say ES is going down and the rest of them are going up. What do you think is going to happen to ES? ES is either going to stop going down, or maybe stop going down as fast, or it's going to turn around and start following the rest of the market, or it's going to go sideways. So we like to see all the markets going in the same direction. If we're trading crude oil, we like to see other energy futures going in the same direction. It's the same thing if we're trading gold. We'd like to see silver going and platinum going in the same direction. So it's like the old saying, a rising tide floats all boats. Well, in a way, it's kind of the same with the market. You know, if you have all the markets in that sector going up at the same time, then that sector is strong. All right. So we decided that, 3 time frames in agreement is really not enough. So what we did was we developed and added a 4th time frame. And we developed an indicator for that, and it's called the C2 indicator. So the C2, all it does is add another time frame. So the C2 is represented by this stair-stepping line above the candles. Green going up, dark red going down. So putting it all together is super simple. This is how the rules and the setups. Rule number 1, colored background, either green or dark pink. What does that mean? 3 time frames in agreement. What did I say? We want to see 4 time frames in agreement. So we want to see the C2 indicator. Now we have a solid line and a dot dash line. Going up, we want to see a solid line above the dot dash line, and going down, we want to see below it. Rule number 4, if you run into a pivot, the VWAP, any sort of support or resistance area, you must wait till 3/4 of the body of the candle clear that pivot or whatever it is. Then you must wait for a pullback candle. And I'll explain to you in a little bit why we wait for the pullback candle. Hold on a second, I need to get a drink of water. Okay, sorry about that. Both quants need to be red or green. The top one is a short one, the bottom is long term. Multiple time frame, the gear needs to be red or green in the same color of the quants. The modified Laguerre needs to be the same color of the multi-time frame Laguerre and the quants. And it must be pinned at 100 or 0 to get the acceleration dots. Now, this was the setup on this trade, right? And that was the outcome of this trade. Our exit is when the dot dash line changes color from green to yellow or green to red, or red to yellow, or red to green. That's our exit. If you don't get stopped out while you're trailing it, that is our exit. This trade was 63 ticks. That's $630 per contract. So one thing that I really love about trading with this software, and I've been trading with it for the last 4.5 years, is trading with the money flow tracker rules will keep you out of choppy, non-trending markets. Those are the markets where you lose money. Okay? Those are the markets where this is the market, this is where you lose money. in those type of markets. So we don't trade when we don't, first of all, not that we don't trade, we don't get setups in those type of markets, right? So the thing that I love about it is it keeps me out of a lot of trouble, okay? Because when the market's going up and down and up and down and up and down and not really going anywhere, those are the days you lose money. So when people tell me, hey, David, I made money yesterday, I had a great day yesterday, and I gave most of it back today, right? I said, well, you made money yesterday. What was different yesterday? Oh, these markets were flying. They were taking off. And I said, and what was it like today? Oh, man, it was so choppy and this and that. I said, so why did you lose money? Bingo, right? So remember, it's okay not to trade every day. I don't trade every day, and I do great, right? I can show you something really quick, and I really don't want to get off the subject. This is my equity curve for this year, right? This year's been slow. We only did like 75,000. Let me show you my equity curve from last year. Last year, we had a great summer. This year, the markets were so choppy. This was last year's. We did $120,542. Okay? This was last year. Look at the months that we had last year in the summer. June, 19,000. July, 13,000. August, 12,000. Right? That was the summer. September was slow. October, 11,000. November, 12,000. This year, it hasn't been as good. I don't know why, but it hasn't. And we take what the market gives us. All right, so here's a trade that I took. Right? The market came down, right? Broke the pivot. We got this pullback candle, placed our order, sell on down close, took my trade, $100, 10 ticks, take one off. This here, 55 ticks, take it off, exit it on line change. Okay? I mean, easy peasy. Just have to wait for the peasy part, right? This trade, 100 plus 550, $650 trade. Look at the timestamp on the bottom. Started at 9:36. We were out at 9:37. 1 minute, made $650, traded 6 accounts, made $3,300 on one trade. Right? So the money flow tracker software gives you clear and exact entries, clear and exact exits, and you get all your targets pre-configured with your ATMs. I'm going to show you how I trade breakouts with the money flow tracker software and how we sidestep losing trades, and I call this the pullback and go strategy. So again, let me grab my pen here. So the market's coming down. You have a pivot here. We wait for it to break the pivot. Now, we wait for the pullback candle. So, David, why do we wait for the pullback candle? Because, as you know, markets break support or resistance, tend to pull back to it, right? So the market comes down, we get the pullback candle. As the candle is pulling back halfway or more, that's when we place our orders, sell on down close, right here. So what happens if the market comes down, breaks support, gives you the pullback, right, and goes up like this? What happens? This candle closes up. If this candle closes up, this order gets automatically canceled, and you didn't get in the trade. So you didn't get caught in that, also known as stop run, liquidity grab, whatever you want to call it. All right. This is the pullback and go strategy. And this saves us so many losing trades by waiting for that pullback candle. And yes, sometimes we miss winning trades because we don't get the pullback candle, but that's okay. I would say the ratio of missing a winning trade and sidestepping a losing trade is probably out of 10 trades, maybe we missed one or two. I mean, I didn't trade today because I had a doctor's appointment, but the day before was so choppy, we sidestepped like 5 trades. 5 trades by waiting for that pullback, right? And it went the other way. Right. So here's a couple more. Here's one on RTY, broke the pivot, waited for the pullback, placed my order, first profit target, second profit target. Here's another one on crude oil. Here's 2 of them on the Canadian dollar. All right. So now let's get into one of my favorite subjects is the money flow tracker order trader strategy called the Revolution. And we call it the Revo for short. So what does it do? Well, it took this trade for 704 ticks. It took this trade for 665 ticks. It took this trade for 1,016 ticks. This was torture staying in this trade. Torture. Why? Because this market would go up here, up and down, up and down, up and down, down, up and down, up and down. And you're like 800 picks in profit. And it's like, I want to take it. I just want to take it. I want to take it. No, I got to follow the rules. Okay. And this is what's difficult about this particular strategy. If you sit there and watch it every tick, it'll drive you nuts. It will drive you nuts, but it works awesome. This trade we took for 792 ticks. So, David, what does it do? Well, let me show you. I'm going to pull up the strategy window. Hello, strategy window. Come on, Ninja. Oh, here we go. So, let me get rid of that drawing. And here. I'm going to load my template. I got to pick the strategy. Template, load. We'll just do this one. It's no big deal. All right. So who can tell me what rule number 1 is? Scott, what was rule number 1? Anybody? Colored background. So we want the bias as the colored background, and we always want to trade with the C2. So we turn it on. This does not wait for a pullback candle. So I have it, the signal delayed by 1 bar. I want the whole bar to clear, the pivot or whatever it is. We want the Laguerre, red or green. We turn it on. We want the multiple time frame Laguerre, red or green. We turn it on. These are just the colors of the moving averages and stuff. We just keep them red or green. The MA diff, don't trade above 350. I'll explain to you in a little bit what the MA diff is. We want to clear the pivots. We want to clear the volume zones, which are the higher time frame support and resistance. Right? The quants, we both want red or green. Now, the first target is very important. Why? Because if you look over here, if you don't have, our first target is 80 ticks, but it has to go to 81 to get filled, right? If you don't have at least 81 ticks right here, it won't take the trade. It will wait until a bar clears that obstruction, pivot, whatever it happens to be, and then it will take the trade. Everybody understand? Okay, then it will take the trade. What else do we have here? We have where you can turn it on and off whenever you want, start time and end time. It has built-in money management right here. We have lots of people who just subscribe to the money flow tracker just to trade the auto trader, right? And I have them set it up like this. Hey, if I'm up $1,000 for the day or more, stop trading. If you're in a trade and you're up 1,500, it's not going to close the trade at 1,000. But once the trade's closed, it won't take another trade. Session loss limit, 500. Once you're down 500, it doesn't trade anymore. So what they do is they go over here to the bottom before they leave to go to work, whatever, and they turn it on. And once it's on, either they're going to come home and they're either going to be had made money, had lost money, or maybe didn't even trade that day. All right. All right. So let's keep going. This is the equity curve for the Revo strategy for 2021 and 2022. I lost all my data for 2023, but here it was for last year. Last year alone, this one strategy made roughly about $44,000. One strategy made $44,000. Just the Revolutions Auto Trader. Here's the trade that I was in. And I hit my first profit target like really fast. Normally these trades take a little bit, but I hit it really fast. So I turned on my recorder really quick. I wanted to record it because I wanted to be able to share it. So look, I'm going to go fast forward here. We're up 70 ticks. We're up 261 ticks. Now, the MA diff is right here. It shows you right here, the MA diff, 270. On this particular strategy, what did it show? We don't trade above 350, right? So when the MA diff starts getting higher is when I tend to start moving my market. So what is the MA diff? The MA diff is how far is the market away from the 50? How far is it? In this particular bar size, in this particular market, we don't trade when it's 350 or higher. Actually, we don't trade when, 350 or higher. So when the MA diff gets higher, you'll see in the recording, we're up 355 ticks. Now we're up 433 ticks. Now, the MA diff is at 373. So see, I'm moving my stop. Now we're at 522 ticks. The MA diff is really high, way over the limit. See how I move my stop closer to the market, right? Now we're up 528 ticks, 570 ticks, 578 ticks, out at 570 ticks. So traded 4 micros, made $80 on the first 2 and $570 on the second 2. That's $650 on this trade, $650 on this trade. And all I did was flip the check mark in the box. That's all I did. And we are in the process of even making more improvements to this particular strategy. So, all right, so let's keep moving on. So now how to pass the evaluations. Focus on the process. Don't focus on the carrot. What do I mean by that? I have 2 friends of mine. One friend of mine, Steve, he works in a brokerage firm. And the second friend of mine, John, he works as a floor trader. So I asked him, how do floor traders trade? I said, what do they do? What is their win rate? He says, look, floor traders don't worry about their win rate. Floor traders don't worry about anything. All floor traders worry about is their risk. They focus on their risk and their profits take care of themselves. I don't like the saying, cut your losers short, let your winners run. Well, but that's what they do. If they're in a trade and it's going against them, they're out. Right? So they focus on their risk. How much am I willing to risk on this trade? Once I risk that amount, I'm done. Right? And they're only 40% win rate. Right? And most of them don't even trade with charts. Anyways, so don't focus on the profit. That's what I mean by don't focus on the carrot. When somebody comes into the room and says to me, hey, David, I need to make 300 a day. I said, you're going to fail. And it was like, what do you mean I'm going to fail? I said, you're going to fail. I said, if you're focusing on $300 a day, you're going to fail because you can't look at it that way. You can't look at it on a daily basis, right? You take what the market gives you. So when you focus on saying $300 a day, oh my God, I got to make $300 a day. I got to keep pushing that button. I got to, oh, here's maybe a good trade, maybe not. I got to push the button because if I'm not in it, it might go, right? That's not the way you do it. You can be patient. You wait for that setup and you take it. You don't say, well, I don't know about this one. It doesn't look very good. Because those are the big winners. Those are the big winners. So when you get a setup, you take the trade. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's just the way it is. That's why they call it trading. All right? You trade. Um, you know, my friend Steve works at a brokerage firm. And I asked him, he says, we love it when a retail trader opens a individual account or whatever, and they throw in there 5 or 10,000. I said, what do you mean? He says, we call them the guppies. I said, the guppies? He says, yeah. He said, they're the guppies. I said, why? He says, because that's what institutional traders feed off of, the retail traders, you know? So focus on trading well. Focus on your system, right? Don't focus on the carrot. If you trade well, focus on trading well, the profits will take care of themselves. Look, the challenges or evaluations or whatever your particular company calls them are really designed to make you fail because of parameters they put in place. Like, and I should even update this slide because now they have this consistency rule. Like how many trading days to pass? The trailing drawdown is the biggest one. And now you have the consistency rule that most of them went to about a year or so ago, which means, let's say you make $100 a day and you're consistent every day making $100 a day. Well, let's say one day you make $1,000. They won't count that because you're 3 times you're 10 times your normal trading percentage. Okay, it's a whole thing. I don't really understand it 1,000%, but I understand it. So if you think because you open a 50K account that you're trading 50K, you're wrong. You're trading the drawdown. So if you get a 50K account and you have a $2,500 drawdown, I look at it this way. I'm trading 2,500 bucks. So my process is I don't risk any more than 10% of my drawdown on any one trade, which comes out to $250. So since we use a 40 tick on NQ, and that was me $400 on 2 contracts max loss, I can't trade that. I have to trade 6 micros to stay within my risk parameter. Okay, everybody understand that? So your win rate versus your reward. Now, if you're a 1-to-1 trader, which means you risk 10 to make 10, you need to be 60% profitable in order to make money. Now, if you're a 2-to-1 trader, it drops drastically, which most institutional traders are 2-to-1 because they're only 40% win rate, but they're making money, right? And if you're a 3-to-1 trader, you could lose 7 out of 10 trades and still make money. Let that sink in. I could lose 7 trades and only win on 3 trades and still make money. Exactly. Exactly, Sarah. You could lose on 7 out of 10 trades and still make money if you're a 3-to-1 trader. I say most people are in between the 1-to-1 and the 2-to-1. Right? So rather than avoid risk, take intelligent risk, and it will give you that competitive edge. Just like this little mouse. He wants that piece of cheese. He knows what the risk is, the mouse trap. So he took intelligent risk and he put his helmet on to protect him from his risk. Right? So look, I've been talking now for about 40 minutes. I've showed you everything about the software. Now you have two options. If you're consistently making money and you're happy with what you're doing, then God bless you and keep moving on your current path. But most people that come into my webinars are not consistent, are not making money on a consistent basis. So the second option would fit you better. So take action today. You know, I trade from 9:30 to 11. That's it, an hour and a half, and I'm done for the day, right? So the money flow tracker trading software gives you the benefits and the features, easy to learn, super, super simple to learn. I've taught thousands of traders. Some of them have become awesome traders. It's perfect for beginners. If I had this was a beginner, I'd be a multi-millionaire by now. I'd be breaking out the side of my house to build a banquet hall on the side of my house. It's perfect for any account size. I have one trader in my room. He trades anywhere from 100 to 200 contracts at a time. And then I have people in my room that trade 3 or 4 micros. Whatever you want to do, okay? Whatever you want to do. It's good. You can trade futures. You can trade forex. You can trade stocks. You can trade the signals on stocks and trade options on them. You can use for cryptos. So the first 10 traders that come aboard this evening, we have some additional software as a quick action bonus. So the first thing you'll get is, and you know what? I should have opened up my workspace. What is all that? I'll open it up. You get the market analyzer. So I use Unorenco bars. So as you can see, here is my market analyzer, and it's populating now. But anyways, so let's say on CL, we trade a 2-5-10 bar. So if I looked at a chart on CL, this doesn't mean that you have a setup. It means that you have the conditions for a setup. Go look at the chart. Either you do or you don't, period. Okay, you'll get this as part of as a quick action bonus. It's a $9.99 value. You'll get the NDT. Now, this is a strategy that we developed to what we use to buy on up close, sell on down close on down close on up close. This is where you put your ATM, your order, your account, and everything. This strategy is normally $14.99. You will get this as part of your package. You get the Masterclass series on futures, forex, stocks, and options. They're excellent. I've watched them a couple of times, as a matter of fact. You'll get 1 month of my trade room. Now, my trade room was part of a study that this Dr. Victor Allen did, and he reviewed more than 225 trading websites and evaluated them using several factors, including transparency, proven track record, and assisting traders with educational materials and online support. And we came out on top. And this was published in Traders World and Stock and Commodities magazine. So let me go ahead and pull up the price. So the special offer we're doing is 50% off across the board on everything. Quarterly, normally is $11.94, it's $5.97. The annual, normally is $23.94, it's $11.97. Less than $100 a month. You can subscribe for a year. If you want to get the software as a one-time purchase, it's $19.97, and you own it. And upgrades and everything you get is whenever we do upgrades. All right. So if you'd like to purchase, all you need to do is go to your chat. Oh, I gotta turn my speaker off here. Sorry. Okay. Go ahead and fix this. Swap. Okay. All you need to do is go to the chat window in the GoToWebinar control panel, the very one on the bottom, and Rory put in a link. And here's the link he put in there. All you need to do is scroll down to the bottom, right here, The coupon code is save 50% for either one of them. So I'm going to copy this, click here, okay, and have a coupon code. Enter your coupon code. Where is it? Let me refresh this. Oh, there it is. My browser's been weird lately tonight. And click apply. Right? Now, $23.94 minus 25.90 minus 11.97. Oh, 11.97 for the year. Coupon code 11.97, and next year when you subscribe again next year, it's going to be the same price. We're not going to raise the price because you've been with us a year. All right, we're not going to charge you more. You know, if new people sign up and we have a price increase, of course they're going to pay more, but you will always be charged of 11.97. Right? So just fill in your information here, and then we'll set you up with an appointment with Rory or whoever else is doing it. I don't know who's doing them right now, and they'll log into your computer and get everything set up for you. You don't have to do anything, and you'll get all the bonuses. Let me tell you something. The Auto Trader is worth the $11.97 a year by itself, and it's going to get even better within the next few weeks. It will be even better than it is now, and it's really good now. Okay, so keep going. So this is my commitment to everybody when they sign up, is when you subscribe to the Money from Tracker software, is to help you become a successful trader. Remember, if you're not successful, it's not your fault. Okay, again, if you're not successful, it's not your fault. Okay, it's like trying to pound a nail into a piece of wood using a screwdriver, right? If you hit it long enough, yeah, it'll probably go in. But if you've used the right tool, a hammer, a couple of shots with the hammer, and it's in, right? The problem is you're not using the right tools to be successful. You know, the Money Flow Tracker software is totally unique and will give you that edge to trade with institutional order flow, right? We trade with institutional our trading. If you know that most retail traders lose money, why would you want to trade along with them? So again, my commitment to you is not just about how to read the setups. I can teach a 5-year-old to read the setups, okay? It's not the setups are the easy part, but also to help you develop that mental mindset you must have in order to achieve financial independence. You know, what kind of physical skill does it take to trade? Can anybody answer me that? What physical skill does it take to trade? One finger on the mouse. Click, click, click. That's it. But when you click that button, your mind goes boom. Oh, I'm in the trade. Is it going to win? Is it going to lose? Oh, it's going up. Oh, it's coming down. Oh, it's going up. Can't trade like that. You have to sit back. When I take a trade, you know what I do? I cross my arms in front of me and I look at it. And whatever happens, happens. Because that's the way the markets are. That's the way trading is. Nobody can read the future. One guy told me he could read the future, but anyway. So if you have any other questions or you would like to speak with us before you make your purchase, if you put your name and your phone number in the questions box, either myself or Rory will give you a call right after the webinar, and you can ask as many questions as you want. You can do your purchase over the phone if you want. And Rory just sent me a message saying that anybody that is in the webinar that has questions that would like to speak with us will guarantee you to get all the extra bonuses like the Auto Trader, the NDT, the Market Analyzer, all that stuff. So let's keep going. Oh, hold on a second. He's sending me a message. He says to me, he goes, David, please welcome Carl. Stephanie, John, Tyra, Pam. Ooh, all the ladies today. Welcome them to the Money Flow Trackers. Okay, well, all right, all you guys that I just mentioned your name, welcome to the Money Flow Tracker software. I'll look forward to working with you in the trading room and getting you up to speed as quick as you can. All right? So let me keep going. So look, it's a well-known fact that 95 to 98% of day traders and traders are losing money, right? Just like my friend Steve said, this is a retail trader, right? You might as well just flush his money down the toilet because that's where it's going to end in his mind, okay? And the broker's mind is like, yeah, man, but in his mind, this is where his money can, but not our traders. Why? Our traders are making money because when the retail trader is losing money, the institutional trader is taking it from them. Right? So we trade with the institutional trader and we trade with institutional money flow. And that's how we do it. That's how we make our money. As a matter of fact, I have a screenshot of a trade that I took. Um, let me see right here. Let me get it. Because I wanted to share this. Snag it. I have it in my editor. Oh, it's right here. It's right here. I took this trade here. Look, I entered here, broke the pivot, placed my order, entered it here. This trade was on YM, 101 ticks on YM. And this trade was, I believe, on Monday using this software. Do we get 101 ticks on every trade? Hell no. Who gets 100 ticks on every single trade? Nobody that I know. But we do catch our trades where we have nice profits and we have nice runners. And sometimes we only get our first profit target. And then our stop goes to break even and we get stopped out of break even. But at least we got something out of the trade. All right. So again, it's $597 for quarterly subscription. It's $1197 for an annual, and it's $1997 one time for a lifetime subscription. All right. So this is a reel of all our bunch of our traders giving testimonials about the software and anyway. But this particular woman, I like to highlight because she has a friend that's in my trading room, and she asked him if he would teach her how to trade, and he said, "Why don't you contact Mark at Rightline and let him teach you how to trade?" And I asked him, "Why did you want to teach her?" He says, "Well, it's kind of hard. She's a friend, and if she loses money, I feel responsible." And I understand that. I can understand that very well. So anyway, so she contacted Mark at Rightline, and look, she said, Rightline provided me with all the charts and the software that I wanted, and Mark taught me things. So Mark taught her the setups and sat her down in front of a computer and says, when you see this setup and it's got a green background, I want you to click on buy and up close. And when you see this setup and it's got a dark pink background, I want you to click on down close. So she did that for 4 months. 4 months she did that. To make a whole long story short, now she's a six-figure trader. After a year trading, she's a six-figure trader. And I asked her on the phone, I said, do you trade every day? And she said, if I don't have a setup and I don't have good volume, I don't trade, period. So there's a trader that learned that if you don't have a trade and you don't have a setup, then you don't trade. Here's a testimonial that was written in Trustpilot by Barry. Barry writes, I've been trading 25 years. I can honestly say the money flow tracker system is one of the smartest tools I've added to my toolbox. The layout of a single chart gives me everything I need at a glance. Like, for instance, here's a chart. What do I need? I know that I have 3 time frames in agreement. I'm in a downtrend. Okay? I know that I have my solid line above my dash line right here. I mean, below it, we're going to downtrend, but I have a flat trend line. So if you would have taken this trade, you could have taken this trade right here on this candle. And if you took the trade on this candle here and you traded it down to this pivot, that's 26 ticks. 26 ticks. So this is how we do it. Let's see if we had anything else from today really quick while I got the chart here. So this was this afternoon. Let's see this morning. Not a lot of movement today. 10 o'clock. Okay, here's a trade here. This trade here. This is the dashed lines are pivots. The solid lines are really color lines are just scrunched up. So look, here's the 3/4 candle. I know this was a pullback candle because I see a little tiny wick on the bottom. Place my order, 1 tick above there. Market goes up, exit on line change, 118 ticks. Not that hard. When the market's just doing this stuff and we don't have C2 indicator, we don't have anything, we sit on our hands until we do have it. And that's as simple as it gets. It's really simple as it gets. All right. So here was an email that was written into Rightline by a gentleman that was in the webinar, just like you are. And he said to me that he writes in the questions box, I am the world's worst trader. I've been doing this for so long, I'm thinking about quitting. I keep spinning my wheels, winning one day, losing one day, winning one day, losing money one day. He asked me in the thing, I said, will you help me? I said, absolutely. So he signed up. He signed up for a year. I said, look, if you're going to sign up for a year, but you have to be 110% committed to this software, 100% committed to this methodology and this system. I said, it means you don't add anything to it. You trade it the way it was designed. You don't look at anything else, and be committed to something, okay? Because too many traders buy a system, they trade with it for a month or two, they get a few losers, and they're like, oh, this software sucks. I'll go find something else, like I said earlier in the webinar. So I tell everybody, if you really want to make money and you want to have, like an equity curve like this, right? You want to have a nice equity curve like this, then commit to it and stick with it. And I'll help you as much as I can. So again, he writes here really quick. I started watching David's trading room every morning. I learned his methodology and more important, the rules for trading. We only take specific setups. When following rules, we have a win rate around 70%. I now have 7 accounts at Apex and 7 accounts at Buell Knox. Well, now he's got 20 accounts at Apex, 10 accounts at Buell Knox. He's probably got about 30 or 40 accounts between different firms, right? Then he goes along and says, the money flow tracker software, along with David's methodology and rules for trading, allow me to act like a robot and eliminate any guesswork or emotions from my trading. We use the NDT, which allows a single push button to enter trades when we see the correct setup. So following the rules every day, he looks at it as simple. C setup, push button, C setup, push button, C setup, push button. All right? That's the way he does it. He says, hey, I have a setup, I'm pushing that button. I don't have a setup, I'm taking my hand off the mouse. He sends me this message about a week ago in the trading room, and he says, $4,265, only traded 4 accounts today, I can ring the bell. Look at the time, 10:36. He traded for an hour and 6 minutes and made $4,265. Only trading 4 accounts. So again, this is the pricing that we're doing. The subscriptions, either quarterly, yearly, or lifetime. This is a great deal. The yearly is a great deal. The lifetime is a great deal. Some people don't like to do subscriptions, so they have the option to do lifetime. So hold on a second. He said there's 4 more people. He said, I want you to congratulate Craig, Daryl, Eric, and Mike. Congratulations, you guys. Appreciate it. I look forward to working with you in the trading room. Okay. And again, if you have any questions, how much is the monthly room? The room, I believe, is 127. Don't quote me on it, but I think that's what it is. I don't know. I don't really get involved in the pricing. All right, Dave? We have lots of Daves in the room. We have lots of Daves in this webinar too. But anyways, um, and if you put your name and your phone number, if you want to ask any more questions, we'll call you back. You have no obligation to purchase. We won't keep calling you every few days to ask you if you want to buy, you want to buy. We don't do that. Okay? We don't need to do that. Okay? And we don't like when people do it to us, so we won't do it to anybody else. And that's it. That's all I got. Anybody have any questions? Anybody want to see anything? You want to see a certain market? I'll put it on a certain market. You let me know. I'm going to got about a couple more minutes left in the webinar. But honestly, the prices that we're doing at 50% off, don't miss out. Okay, we just had like 10 people, 9 people sign up in the last 15 minutes. And they see the value in it. And if you want me to look at a certain market on a certain chart, I will do that. You just put the symbol in. Oh, Larry put it in here. Why are these not? Oh, you know what it is? It's sorting the messages in the wrong direction. Gold, the golder. I'm just going to open up a new chart. All right, chart. How about gold the other day? Sold off like 6%. Let me set it on the right bar size. Unirenco. Yesterday, gold was like worse than NQ. Okay, so here's the chart. I got something wrong here. Hold on a second. Oh, that's why. Okay, and I'll put the template on it. Gold. Actually, I'll even put it with the Revo signals on it. Makes it easier for me to show you the trades. It's loading the chart here. Shouldn't have that many days. It should have loaded it pretty quick. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so I'm gonna make this chart bigger. Oh, it's still loading the chart. On. I don't know why it's taking. Usually doesn't take this long. Maybe GoToWebinar uses a lot of resources, but there we go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and scrunch this down a little bit because we have what we call the Revo signals, which are the arrows right here. Uh, this was today. So these arrows here, we have what we call the Revo. It's very similar to the Revo strategy. It's just the Revo signals. So look, it even looks the same. The C2, the bias, all this other stuff. It's all the same. It just plants these triangles where you have a setup. So let's see what trades we had. Come on. I hope NinjaTrader isn't going to crash on me. Come on. Okay, there we go. All right. Let's go back here. Today, here's a trade on gold. This trade went up as high as 36 ticks on that one. Yesterday, could have cleaned up on gold, especially if you were up early. See this trade here? This is where the C2 was. 3/4 of the bar. Say this was a pullback candle. This one went down. I would have traded it right to here. 38 ticks. Here's an up. Here's one here. It broke the pivot 3/4. This is the pullback candle I wait for. I would have taken it on this candle. And this went up a total of 46 ticks. So I usually trail mine by the bottom of the bar. So that would have been a 33 tick trade. See anything else here? You know, it's like when you don't see setups, mean you don't have trades. So it means the market's chopping around. Look at this one here. This one here, you could have just taken this one. Everything's red below. Went all the way down, went all the way down. Let's say I trailed by the bottom of the bar, 62 ticks. So all this other stuff in between is nothing but nonsense, noise. All right, everybody. Well, I want to thank everybody for attending this evening. And I look forward to working with all the people that already signed up. Anybody else want me to look at the market real quick? I have a few more minutes. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for attending. I hope to work with each and every one of you in my trade room, the people that already signed up. Yes. So what I do is I have an alert set on, I'll just pull up a chart here of CL real quick. I don't care what it is. Let's see. I just closed my workspace. So I'll just pull up this chart of CL. Real quick. So the alerts that we use, since we always want to trade with the C2, is we have alerts set up on the C2 indicator. The sound file, I've made my own sound file. So when I get a C2, it'll tell me CLC2, CLC2. That's when I go look at the chart. If I don't get an alert, I don't look at the chart. You want to look at ES real quick? We could do that. Let me change the bar size to we trade ES on. Here is ES. ES is the worst market we trade. I don't trade it because it's too slow. Let me put on the template. Load tracker, ES. The problem with ES is it tends to move really slow. Wow, the market really sold off after this was what? This was last night. No, this was today at 8 o'clock. No, it's 8 o'clock now. Could it be? Yeah, this was this evening. Here's the trade. Here's the pullback candle. I could see the pullback candle. The wicks don't show up in the history. It's a Ninja Trader thing, right? So here's CL. Here's the pullback candle that I wait for. So take it one tick below here. Right? One tick below there. 27 ticks. But see, this was all the price movement on, well, this was after the open. This was today. See how choppy it was? We only go long above the VWAP and short below the VWAP. We have the rules are there for a reason. I can tell when there's going to be a trade just from everything lined up green here. So this was a nice little trade. This was yesterday probably. No, this was at 3 o'clock. There are a lot of trades. There's some trades. It just moves really slow, and it moves up and down, up and down. And because ES trades so much volume, a lot of HFTs robots run on it. So it's a lot harder to trade. How tight are the stops? We trade with a 10-tick stop on crude oil, on gold. 13 tick on crude oil, on gold. I don't remember. On MNQ, 40 ticks. On YM, 20 ticks. So it's just you have to at least be at the bottom of the entry bar. So those are the stops that we use. All right, Daniel. All right, everybody. Have a great afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are. And yes, I only trade with prop firms. All right, everybody have a great evening. Take care. And if you don't have the link and you decide to buy, you can always just go to our website. So if you go to Right Line Trading, I got fat fingers. If you go to Right Line Trading, our homepage, you can just go ahead and what? Oh, this is Right Line Funding. I want Right Line Trading. Here we go. Right Line Trading. You can just scroll down here to Money Flow Tracker software. Click here to bring you to the same page. All right. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it and have a great evening. Take care. Bye-bye.